Hey yo, it's Brian here. Today, talking about the San Francisco 49ers. In this one, looking at our quarterback, Brock Purdy, feeling pretty good. It's kind of a freestyle video right here, so I'm just talking, bantering like a podcast like I usually would with Lou. But talking about him, talking about defensive coordinator DeMeco Ryans. Potentially after this season, he'll probably be gone and take a great head coaching opportunity somewhere. A lot of excitement for him. I can't wait to see what he is going to take for a head coaching spot. If not, hey, we'll take him back as defensive coordinator. Wouldn't that be a great opportunity? So far, the jobs that are open right now, they're not really the best, but hey, when you're looking for a head coaching opportunity, the teams are not going to be good, because if they were good, then the spot would already been taken anyways. But we're going to be looking at that, and we'll see where he leads us. And you guys can make some predictions on where you think he's going to be ending up after this year. And you can even say San Francisco if none of the jobs are that appealing. Anyways, hope you guys are having a great Thursday. Nothing too crazy for me. Playoff game is 2 days away. Excited for this matchup. I hope you guys are as well. It's going to be mad raining, apparently, from what the weather reports are saying. It has been raining a lot in California, so hopefully you guys are staying safe over there. But we'll see in a few days what the conditions are. And as much as this might be a high-scoring game, with the rain, probably not. I don't expect this game to be the highest-scoring game. But still, I expect both teams to run the ball, with both Christian McCaffrey for the 49ers, Kenneth Walker for the Seahawks. It's going to be a lot of interesting running the ball and hopefully playing great defense. Whoever turns the ball over the least is probably going to win the game. A lot of factors, and 49ers, they did beat Seattle twice this year, and pretty good decisive wins, but you never know. Anything can happen in football. Geno Smith, as much as he's had the ups and downs, he's had a great year for the most part in 2022, considering the fact that he was taking over for Russell Wilson, and everybody thought, including myself and probably you guys, thought that they were going to be screwed and they were only going to win like 5 or 6 games. But to everyone's surprise, they made it to the playoffs and had the number 5 overall pick in the NFL draft, which is very impressive. I'll give Pete Carroll a lot of credit. As much as we all love to hate him in San Francisco, he's done a great job in Seattle and still doing a great job even after Russell Wilson. And we're seeing how he's doing right now in Denver, which is awful. I think that's an understatement right there, but we could talk about him in a future video. I did talk about him in a little bit in the podcast with Lou on my recent one. If you guys want to check it out, link will be in the description below. So if you want to check that out. But just going to be talking about our quarterback, Brock Purdy. So far, looking at his statistics, looking at the way he plays, very, very good. If you look at the game from Miami when he took over for Jimmy Garoppolo all the way until Arizona, he scored at least 2 touchdowns each game. Very impressive right there. I mean, for a quarterback to just go in randomly and score 2 touchdowns in each of his games, was at 2, 4, 6 games, and he had 3 against Arizona in the last game. That is just mind-blowing right there, mind-boggling. I mean, Jimmy Garoppolo, as much as we love him, he wasn't throwing 2 touchdowns every single game. And sure, Brock has a really good team, a very stacked team, and stuff like that, but the quarterback still has to make plays as well. It's not like one of those things where they could just hand the ball to Christian McCaffrey all day, although you probably could in this offense. But Brock, you've seen him play. He's making a lot of great plays, a lot of, I guess, quote-unquote swag. I hate to use that word, but you guys probably know what that word means. It's just been a joy to watch him play, and he looks like a seasoned quarterback, veteran quarterback. A little early to tell. I mean, the playoffs is a very good test for him, and if he wants to keep the job permanently, essentially, he can go out there and make a deep playoff run. That's all I can say, pretty much. I don't want to jinx anything for the 49ers, but if he wants to keep this job for good and maybe take over Trey Lance, I know I hate to say that. I love me some Trey Lance, but at the same time, he's playing really, really well. You can't take that away from him. And if they do something really, really good this year, the rest of this postseason run, then maybe. We'll see. Maybe that could be another video another time. But so far, playing really, really well, making great plays, using everybody to their advantage. George Kittle has probably benefited the most out of this whole quarterback situation, whatever you want to call it, because Kittle has been a touchdown machine ever since Purdy's been with the 49ers, and Purdy's lucky to have him, and Kittle is, I guess, lucky to have him for throwing the ball to him all the time, right? Because before, they didn't really use him as much, more in the blocking game, but now they're using him in the passing game. Very, very cool right there. So, Brock, have 100% confidence in you in the playoffs. The biggest thing, don't turn the ball over. You turn the ball over, especially in the playoffs, is game over pretty much. And I'm pretty sure the coaches, everybody in San Francisco knows that. And that's the thing Brock has to know, is don't turn the ball over, whether it's fumbles or interceptions. Hopefully not interceptions, right? But anyways, done talking about him. I think that's a pretty good introduction to him. Never made a video dedicated to him. I always made videos about Jimmy Garoppolo and company because I still love me some Jimmy G. I don't know if you guys do, but I'm still a huge fan to this day. And whatever happens to him after this year, hopefully the best for him because he's always going to be great for us in San Francisco. He's always going to be welcomed in San Francisco. And for us fan base, he's a great guy, and a great quarterback for us. And leading us from the times from hell pre-2017 all the way until now. Got to give him much props, much love to him for what he's done for San Francisco. But anyways, going to DeMeco Ryans, I think this is the big question right here. Him having a great 2 years with the 49ers, especially this year, just absolutely dominant. Number one defense, almost over every single category. And what team will he go to if he leaves San Francisco? The big teams so far that I'm seeing as of this recording, Arizona Cardinals, Denver Broncos, Houston Texans, and my hometown team, the Carolina Panthers. I think the Texans, I don't think he's going to take that job. I think that's the least desirable job because of ownership, how crazy they are, and just how much turnover they have for the past 2 years, just firing a coach every year. Assuming that DeMeco takes the job, I don't think he wants to get in that situation, just get fired after 1 year. That's just awful right there. I mean, that sucked that Lovie Smith got fired after 1 year. David Culley as well. One and done coaches. And back to back, I mean, this is like the 49ers back in those days when Jed York was a little crazy and being a little too incompetent and firing coaches every year. First Jim Harbaugh, then Jim Tomsula, then Chip Kelly. I mean, wow, that was just so many firings right there. And, you know, there has to be a time where owners got to know, you got to give a little bit of time for these coaches. I mean, you know, Nathaniel Hackett, Urban Meyer, yeah, they didn't deserve to be there any longer. But, you know, all these other programs that are showing progress, got to give them a little bit more time. I'd say at least 3 years, in my opinion. I mean, I know some people would say 4, but 3 years, I think that's a pretty good run. Kyle Shanahan, that's when he got his program started, was 3 years later. So, you know, that's a pretty good benchmark if you're an owner. Be a little bit more patient. I know this is not a patient league like it was back in the 60s and 70s. You know, Tom Landry was in today's NFL. He'd probably be fired in his second season, and it took him like 5 or 6 years, but eventually they were very patient, won 2 Super Bowls, made it to many more, NFC championships, all that success. You know, in that time, he's luckily being able to coach at during that time where owners were more patient, and they were an expansion team, don't get me wrong, but still, I think him having time, that really was on his side. And NFL coaches today, GMs, all that, they just don't have any time. You only have a year or two, and then, you know, it's evaluation time. We're going to fire you that quickly, or you're going to be staying a little bit longer. There you go right there. But DeMeco, assuming that he's not going to take his hometown team, I guess you want to call it, because he did play for the Texans. I don't think he's going to take that one. It's just way too volatile, and you don't want to get fired after 1 year for no reason, just because you had a bad season. Because, I mean, it's bound to have a bad season first year for the most part, and that's not really a desirable job. Other teams to look forward to, the Denver Broncos, that could be very interesting right there. I mean, they have a very good defense. That's a big plus right there. Offensively, they have good pieces, but the big question mark is Russell Wilson. I mean, can you improve on him? Can you hold him accountable? I think that's the big thing a lot of people are looking forward to. If you're going to take this job, you can't just let Russell run the whole organization like he did a little bit in Seattle and a lot in Denver. You have to show him a little accountability, and I think DeMeco could do a really good job at that. And you know, he has to find an offensive coordinator that's going to work to Russell's scheme a little bit. I mean, Russell is going to have to be willing to run around a little bit, not just be in the pocket all day, because that's just not who he is. He needs to improv and run the ball, shoot on the go, and that's when he makes him an effective quarterback. But when he's in the pocket all day, he just didn't have any awareness for whatever reason. I don't know what happened to him after that. But, you know, it can't be a desirable job, but at the same time, Russell Wilson, that's the big X factor right there. You know, he has teammates fighting each other. He has fans booing him. I mean, this is just an awful situation for Wilson, and hopefully if DeMeco takes that job, he could turn it around. But I'm pretty sure everybody wants a Sean Payton or Jim Harbaugh, you know, our old coach. But, you know, if he wants thinking about that job, that's the one consideration I would take. Another one, Arizona Cardinals. I mean, that is kind of a dangerous job to take because Kyler Murray, I don't think he's as good as people think. I mean, he's okay, but he can make plays. He's given us trouble in San Francisco, but if you look at his totality of his career, just nothing crazy. I mean, you know, they could have drafted Nick Bosa, and they probably should have drafted Bosa in that draft, but they instead went with Murray because they didn't like Steve Wilkes and Josh Rosen and gave up so quickly on that. And it didn't work out. Cliff Kingsbury ended up getting fired for that. So Murray, I don't know. If he could turn his career around a little bit, I mean, he's had really good moments, Rookie of the Year, Pro Bowls, but just a lot of injuries, and I don't know if he can last with all the injuries that he's had. And plus, is his dedication to football? I think that's the big question for him. Is he dedicated to the job, or does he want to play Call of Duty? There you go right there. But DeMeco, I mean, it's a great job. They have great pieces, but at the same time, you do have to play the 49ers twice a year with that defense. But that could be really knowledgeable for him if he knows what he's doing in Arizona. Can he scheme up against the 49ers defense and Brock Purdy or Trey Lance, whoever the quarterback will be, in that vaunting offense with Christian McCaffrey? I don't know. I don't know if I want to play San Francisco and Seattle twice a year. That's going to be really tough right there. But if he wants to take it, definitely. I would be very happy to face him twice a year, and it'll be awesome rivalry with Kyle Shanahan and DeMeco. But I don't know. That's a really tough one. The last one that, that's a really good consideration is the Carolina Panthers, although Steve Wilks has made a good case for him to be the permanent head coach if they don't look towards him, which I don't know if they will. Hopefully, if they do, because I think Wilks does deserve a chance to be the leader of this team, and everybody from the players and fans, everybody's been in support of him. I would be in support of him personally as a Charlotte native. I think he's done a really good job in Carolina, considering the fact they started awful this year, and they were just terrible with Baker Mayfield, Matt Rule. But when Sam Darnold came, I think it was a little bit more of a bigger improvement. Players wanted to play. They were playing harder for him, and they were winning more games. They were close to making the playoffs. Unfortunately, they didn't make it, but at the same time, you could see progress with Wilks as the head coach, and he looks like a leader of men, which is awesome right there. But, for whatever reason, David Tepper has a change of heart. Like, I don't want Steve Wilks as my coach. DeMeco Ryans would be a great fit. Although they kind of are the same coach, defensive-minded coaches. I mean, are you going to look for more offensive-minded? I think that's the only reason I can see you going away from Steve Wilks. But, it's like trading one thing to another with both defensive-minded coaches. But DeMeco, I mean, he has led the number one defense for the 49ers now. And, the Panthers, they have an awesome defense. Panthers have some great pieces offensively, but the difference is with them in Denver is they don't have any drama queens like Russell Wilson or anything like that. So that could be a good fit right there. Quarterback situation is a little bit questionable, though, I will say, because, I don't know what's going to be happening with them this offseason. Is it going to be Sam Darnold, Matt Corral, or anybody else that they pick up? It's going to be a tough choice for them coming into this season in 2023. It could be a great job. I think it's really good if David Tepper's patient with Ryans, which I'm pretty sure he will be if he took the job, because Matt Rule, he was pretty patient with him. He gave him, I think, 2.5 years to get it right, and he didn't get it right. But the quarterback situation is the biggest issue, I would say, for Carolina. And, if you could figure that out, then you have a really good team right there. They kept a lot of their great pieces. The only guy they got rid of was Christian McCaffrey, but they still have great nucleuses like DJ Moore and Brian Burns. I mean, those are awesome guys right there. So we'll see then. But yeah, that's pretty much it, you guys. Pretty long video right here, I would say, talking about Brock and DeMeco Ryans this year for the playoffs, and then moving forward to 2023. I don't know, a lot of great intrigue on the offseason. I love seeing this whole carousel thing. Don't you like seeing the news? Such and such team request interview for this such and such assistant coach or former head coach. It's a lot of fun. I love the offseason. It's a lot of intrigue, and sometimes it's more interesting than the actual games for me, in my opinion. But I still love the games, but it's always nice to see some cool news, right? Be the first guy to break the news like Adam Schefter, but I'm usually not the first guy to do that. I am pretty slow at that, to be honest with you. Anyways, guys, that's pretty much it. Please let me know what you guys think about DeMeco Ryans and his future opportunities and Brock Purdy in this playoff run. Please let me know in the comments below. If you guys like this, please like and subscribe. As always, I hope to catch you guys up this week even more when the game happens on Saturday. Bye, guys. Love y'all. Hope you guys have a great rest of your night. Go Niners all day.